In this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare for the validation process of this project. And the first thing we're going to need is a sample corpus done through 30 randomly selected articles. And second thing is a machine coded output based on the new corpus. So two things, the sample corpus and the machine coded output from that corpus. So let's start. In your Dropbox, under your name, you're going to find the Ventus folder, which is going to contain the validation folder. You're going to download both Eventus, and that's going to also download the validation folder. Once you have it extracted to your folder, you're going to click inside Eventus, go to validation, and you're going to see a folder containing 30 randomly selected articles from the earlier data gathering that you conducted. So first thing we're going to do is create a new sample corpus. So you're going to navigate to the folder, now within the validation folder, you're going to run web2 eventus. And the way you do that is you enter Perl space web. And one trick whenever you're doing this or whenever you're trying to run any other software is you enter Perl or CD or Perl, in this case Perl, and you enter the first three letters of whatever software you're trying to run. And after you have that, you press the tab key on the keyboard, and that's gonna automatically enter the rest of the software for you. And this is good because it saves time, but more importantly, it allows you to have an accurate, uh, you know, the accurate software on screen, right? So press enter. You're gonna see this screen, Web3 Eventus. You follow the instructions. Press enter to continue. Now it's asking you for a route to extract those 30 files and turn them into a corpus. So what you're going to do is go inside the folder that contains the 30 files. You're going to click on the bar. You're going to copy that, Control C, and you're going to paste it on Notepad++. Now this is going to help you, again, enter the accurate, correct directory route. If you enter the wrong one, it's not going to work. So attention to detail is important here, and it's also important at all times. So you're going to enter the location where the folder is located. Once again, what I did was take the route from the File Explorer, pasted it onto a notepad, and entered it on the screen. Now, before you proceed, make sure that it's accurate. Make sure it's in this format. Now, the last thing before you click enter is entering a star. Well, first, okay, we're there. We are at news, and then you have to include another /, enter start that HTML. And what this is doing is it's telling the software to pick up any files with this extension. The star means any file, and then extension HTML pretty much means any internet link. All right. So once you have that, once you make sure that this is accurate, and once you enter the last extension, you click enter. And now you want to see if you did it right. You're going to see that the selected directory contains 30 files. Right. If you see that number, you're good. If you don't see it, if you see 0, that means you probably entered something wrong in this line. So if you don't see 30, go back and check. But if you do have 30, you can go on to the next step, which is assigning a name for this new corpus. So let's name this validation corpus. Press enter and you're going to see the screen process the files. If you go back to your original folder in validation, you can see a newly created corpus. And this is what we're going to use for the validation process. It's only the first step. Alright, so now that we have a new sample corpus, we're going to run this new corpus with Eventus in order to get the new machine coded output, which contains the actors and the locations. So let's copy this and enter it on the Eventus folder. Here it goes. Alright, so the next step is running the new corpus through Eventus. And once again, we're going to use Windows PowerShell in order to do this. So once you're in Eventus, once you are in the correct folder, which is Eventus, you're going to enter Perl space first three letters. Again, this is a shortcut. Press tab. You can see that. And here's where we enter the configuration file, which we're going to create right now. We're going to modify it. We first worked with a configuration file when we ran Eventus the first time. But for this new corpus, we have to update the configuration file. I'm going to do that right now. All right. So let's place this on hold, minimize it. Now, like the first time when we ran Eventus, we're going to make sure that first all the files are under the right encoding, and second that the file names match the ones in the configuration file. Alright, so let's make sure that first these are all in encoding UTF-8. This is where you want to place all your files under. So this one's good, this one's good, this one's good, and this one's also good. And the corpus, of course, has to be in UTF-8. Alright, once you make sure that they were all under UTF-8, you're gonna make sure that the file names match the ones on the configuration file. So you can open up the Ventus folder and check one by one. Make sure that the file names match the names in the configuration folder. So first one, Columbia Actors. Here I have it as Actors version 1. So that's something I'm going to change. And you press save, little trick, Control S, that saves it. Whenever you're working with Notepad++, a blue icon means that the file is updated and saved. Second file, the blank file, blank.txt, blank.txt. It's a good match. Let's move on. Now since we created a new corpus, we're gonna reflect that. We're gonna make that change in the configuration folder. Now notice it's red. That means it's not saved. So we're gonna save it and move on. Malaysian corpus matches this name. The municipalities. Alright, we have to change that. Colombian departments. Now again, we're making sure that all these names match the configuration file. And Colombian filters. Now we're going to name this machine output. And we're going to save this as configuration version 2 or validation configuration. Alright. You're going to save that and you're going to see a new file. You should see the file in the Eventus folder. So this is, I'm looking for the right folder. Eventus. I'm going to save this in my Eventus folder. And I'm going to make sure that I have it. Alright. Now once you have the new corpus, once you make sure that the files match, and once you save the configuration file, you're going to proceed to run Eventus. Now we did this before. We got up to the Eventus part. Now we're going to enter the new configuration file, which is, in my case, configuration version 2. That txt. Alright. Now what the machine is doing, it's coding, it's looking through the whole corpus and identifying actors and locations. And when it's done, you're going to see a new file being created in your Eventus folder. This is it. Alright. Now this is the output that the machine gave us. We're going to take a quick look and then we will be ready for the next step, the validation. Alright, so the first output is a list of codes, no names, just numbers. And these are the actors, and the states are going to be here. And then the counties or cities will follow. So you have, again, an actor, a state, and a county or a municipality. And then on the other file, you're going to see the actual names. So you have the names of the actors with their corresponding code, and the names of the locations with their codes. So Campamento 05134, and then we also have counties. Yeah, counties. and that's it. You're ready for the next step.